I feel like I'm getting hammered.
Clark harassed by Carrington. Finds Boston. Clark gets hit in the face by Carrington and is down.
Games commentators couldn't ignore the excessive contact, calling attention to the blatant fouls. But the referees? Completely indifferent. Clark, however, didn't let the missed calls define her. She found other ways to contribute, proving yet again why she's one of the toughest competitors in the league. But this wasn't just about one game. It was a glaring example of how officiating can shape outcomes and, more importantly, put players at risk.
Feel like I'm getting hammered. Caitlin Clark has faced plenty of challenges on the court, but nothing has been more frustrating for fans than the inconsistent and downright questionable officiating, from blatant no calls to unnecessary technicals. It's starting to feel like the refs have a personal vendetta. Is this just tough competition, or is there something deeper at play? The energy in the arena is electric every time Clark steps onto the floor. Fans are on their feet anticipating her signature deep threes and dazzling assists, but instead of being able to focus on her game, Clark has to constantly look over her shoulder, not just for defenders but for the referees waiting to blow the whistle at the most questionable moments. The crowd, once roaring in support, often finds itself turning against the officials, booing decisions that make absolutely no sense. Indiana leads by 11 with 548 remaining in the second. So what's really happening? Are these just bad calls, or is there a pattern of bias emerging? We're breaking down 10 of the most outrageous game-changing calls that had fans, analysts, and even players scratching their heads, and trust me, when we get to number 7 you won't believe how blatant this has become. Let's start with one of the most ridiculous no calls in recent memory. It was September 22nd, the start of the playoffs. Indiana Fever versus the Connecticut Sun. Tensions were high and all eyes were on Caitlin Clark, the league's most electrifying rookie. The stage was set for a thrilling showdown, but instead fans were treated to one of the most egregious officiating blunders of the season. Just minutes into the game, Seward D. Carrington lunged for the ball but ended up hitting Clark square in the eye. The force of the impact left Clark momentarily dazed, blinking as she tried to regain her focus. The crowd waited for the whistle and waited, but it never came. Clark, harassed by Carrington, finds Boston.